I started realizing that's not what living is. Living is not just doing outrageous things. You have to live for the Lord. You have to live for greatness. Yes. And I started doing things after that experience that I wanted to do for a while. Like, I wanted to have a hobby. I wanted to start growing things in my backyard. So I ventured out in April to make my backyard sort of a farm. It's not really a farm. It was just, I grew some cucumbers, I grew some tomatoes, I grew some eggplant. And I know the women in the audience know, men, we venture out to do things and sometimes we don't finish it. So right after I planted them, not thinking, yeah, I gotta water these things every day, I left for Europe for a month. And thinking maybe my mom will take care of them. I come back a month later, no, nobody took care of them. The cucumbers were dead, the tomatoes were dead, but the eggplants still remained. And it showed me that everything in life, everything that God has created in the world has a purpose. I mean, the bee, the honeybee, it goes around pollinating plants. And if you think about that, how many of you guys are annoyed with bees? Every summer when a bee comes around, how many of us try to squat it away? But almost 50% of our agriculture is due to bees. And a bee, if you look at a bumblebee, aerodynamically a bumblebee is unsound, meaning it's too big and its wings are too small, yet the bee goes on anyhow. The bee still flies because it doesn't know it can't fly. But the difference in human beings is God has given us a different type of mind. We know we can be great. We know the great things we can do, but for some reason still, we're not doing that. For some reason still, there's 50 million people in America without health insurance. There's 28% of black males who are graduating New York City public high schools. There's another 47 million people who need government help to feed themselves. There's another 14 million people who owe more in their mortgage than the worth of their homes. There's another 27 million people jobless. There was 538 people killed in the city of Chicago, youth killed in the city of Chicago since 2008. Now those numbers, those statistics make you think, what am I doing on this earth? Why are we here? And it's depressing when you start to think about it. It's depressing to know that I grew up in a single-parent household with a single mother. All I had was faith, and I had my mom and my two sisters. But I could have turned out completely different. I could have, a couple years from now, they say, if you're a black man, you don't reach 25, you're either in jail or in dead. So in a couple years, I could be dead or in jail. Now, when we talk about greatness, you have to think of success and greatness. A lot of people want to be successful. It's like that Drake song. He says, I just want to be successful. I want the money, the cars, and the clothes, and I won't finish the rest of the line. But he just wants to be successful. So a lot of the times, you think success is determined by material things. I don't remember what Martin Luther King used to drive. Rosa Parks sat on a bus. I don't know what she drove. She didn't drive. She boycotted. Now, greatness is different. Cornel West says many people aspire to be successful, but not too many don't aspire to be great. The difference in greatness is not just for yourself. Greatness is for everyone else. Now, I don't mind people having wealth or wanting a car or the new clothes, but you have to do something different. You have to be great. And in order to be great, first you have to find your purpose. And I'm fortunate enough to know at this age what I want to do. I go around and I speak to youth across the city. I've spoken in juvenile detention centers. I've spoken at high schools and colleges. I've protested. I helped to save student Metro cards. I've done a lot. I'm in college. This is my second year of college and I'm only 18 years old. And to parents, You have to help people believe in it. My grandmother wrote me a letter when I was 13 years old, and I'll never forget what she wrote. She said, "There are many things I appreciate about you. Some of them are things that you wait to see when a child grows up. Your ability to be yourself when all about you calls to be somebody else. Your willingness to be forthright at the risk of being criticized or censured. And most of all, for believing in yourself. It takes some of us a lifetime to do that. Thank you for being a gentleman and opening the gates and the doors for me so that I may walk in before you." To this day, I hold that dear. To this day, I know I have to be great because the people before me were great. I have to be great just like the Little Rock Nine were great. I have to be great because almost every leader in the Bible was young. David, with a mere rock, killed the giant. That's right. Jeremiah led his people. Timothy, all of these leaders were young. So it's up to us today as youth to realize that we have to do something different. We have to stop being so consumed by the media and television, reality shows. Who cares about the Real Housewives of Atlanta when there's 16-year-old girls who are pregnant and in the streets? Who cares about the referees on the NFL when they're teachers, they're doctors, firefighters, police officers losing their job right in our city? So a lot of us get discouraged. Every day we get discouraged. I mean, I could walk down the street and be stopped and frisked. That's right. I can go to the crumbling high schools in our city with crumbling infrastructures. But I know something different. Martin Luther King gave a sermon once where he said there's two types of faith. There's an if faith and there's a though faith. The if faith says, if I get the cars, if God blesses my socioeconomic status, maybe I'll go to church, maybe I'll bless him, and the pastor talks about it all the time. And the though faith says, though it may not be going all right now, though my economic status is not what I want it to be, though my relationship status is not what it wants to be, though there are kids on the street selling drugs, though there are wars going on overseas, though all this is going on, I still will have faith in the Lord. Now, how many of you have that though faith? Just give me a hand clap. Tell your neighbor. I wasn't going to do that. Tell your neighbor. Have that no faith. Pastor, tell your neighbor. So, I believe this is the generation to lower the sea levels. I believe this is the generation to change climate change. I believe this is the generation that will stop discriminating based on race, religion, sexual orientation. I believe this is the generation to change the world. And I need you guys to stand up with me. I need you to tell your neighbor. I need you to tell, when I say your neighbor, I mean the person next door, because you guys know Kim Kardashian's name, but a lot of us don't even know our next door neighbor's name. I need you to stand up. I need you to stand and march with me. I need you to stand like the Little Rock Nine stood up with rocks being thrown at him. I need you to stand like the women in the women's suffrage movement who couldn't vote. And young people, go register to vote, because if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't even have the choice not to vote. So I need you to stand. I need you to stand for peace. I need you to stand for righteousness. I need you to stand up for the people who don't have anyone to stand up for them. I need you. I need you. We all need you. But faith is a powerful weapon. It brings down armies. And one with God is always in the majority. So have faith in the Lord. Have faith. Have faith in yourself. Have faith. Thank you.